Hi there. Today we are going to continue our lecture on methodology of academic writing. This is actually the chapter 3 of the thesis. Now let's get started. Why we need chapter 3? In this lecture, we will focus on chapter 3, the methodology of academic writing. The chapter 3 discusses in depth step-by-step procedure used in the academic thesis. This chapter explains in detail each empirical approach and the statistical test used in order to achieve each objective set out in chapter 1. Therefore, from here we can understand that there are relationships between chapter 1 and chapter 3. This section can also be novelty for an academic thesis if it is unique and never been explored by any other researcher. But this contribution is rare at degree thesis level. Chapter 3 Structure. To give an significant impact on Chapter 3, the student has to make sure all important information is well organized and well written in the beginning to the end of the chapter. Therefore, chapter 3 has to be written in the proper order to ensure it could deliver all important information needed for the thesis. The structure of chapter 3 for academic writing is as follows. That is in the next section, but also dependent to the university format and the supervision of the thesis. Here is the structure recommended in this lecture. However, as I mentioned earlier, it all depends to the university format and also depend to the supervision of the thesis. It begins with introduction, followed by theoretical framework, then followed by model specification and data series, the empirical method, step-by-step procedure, diagnostic test, and conclusion. Basically, the structure proposed here is actually for empirical study. Well, let's continue. In introduction, the section on just have to be written in 10 to 15 sentences only. In this section, roughly you have to explain about the structure of the chapter 3 in overall, right? And you have also to explain a little bit about the issue of the study, and you have to also mention in roughly the methodology that you're going to use in the in this chapter. However, it's going to be explained in the next subsection in the same chapter, right? While the theoretical framework, at this section the student have to explain in detail theoretical apply in the study. Well, in this part, the example of the theoretical framework that as an economic student might can use in the theoretical framework, like the Keynesian theory, monetary theory, expertly growth hypothesis, capital asset pricing model, market efficiency hypothesis, and many others, right? So, in model specification and data series, here you have to explain in depth about the scientific article references or main article references that you use to use in the study. You have also to explain about the basic model. If the theory you perform has the basic model, so you have to explain in depth about the basic model before you can jump to the augmented model that based from the basic model that you use in the modeling, right? The explanation of each data series with the main discussion also have to discuss in this section. You have to explain about the sign, the magnitude sign that possibly you can achieve through the study. you can also say that the possibility of the sign could be negative, positive, or ambiguous. Right, in the next slide, the empirical method step by step. In this section also varies across the thesis or researcher. For example, if you use ordinary least square approach as your methodology, so the method explained, each method explained in this methodology are different compared to methodology if you use the vector error correction. So in doing this, you have to have ample readings, or maybe you can refer to other sources like in electronic journal, the e-sources from the related library. So from there you can see how is it to develop the good methodology for the thesis. That is, it could be varies according to your objective or the thesis. Alright, so the next slide, the diagnostic test. The diagnostic test is needed for every estimated model is to ensure the regression model is robust and the best linear unbiased estimated model. The diagnostic test varies across the methodology used in the academic thesis. From readings, book and related article journals, and proper investigation like software and YouTube, you will identify what is suitable test you have to apply for your diagnostic test. Usually it may be more than one test for one methodology. Right, in conclusion, you have to explain what will be in the next section in roughly. In the next chapter, that is chapter 5, what it could be. In this situation, you are going to, in chapter 4, it will be about the empirical finding. Also the closing remark for chapter 3. Right, some tips. In chapter 3, you have to cite other articles through relevant and significant reading material, including article journals, books, and other sources. Make sure you know the CFO or the mastermind of each method you adopt in your thesis. This to ensure about this, you can refer to any article book for further references. Right? This is some sources online that you can refer many previous theses across the globe, like Tengku Bainon Library, British Library, UKM and this is among other sources. From here you can see how the previous thesis is being written. Then from there you can learn a lot. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I hope you can have good idea for your thesis. Thank you.